Welcome to Combat Zone 360, where we discuss everything military. Today on our show, we have Fort Hamilton High School Junior ROTC. Joining us from the school is Major Lee, Senior Adriana, and Senior Amelia. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
So what I like to do on the show when we first began is, Major Lee, you've served an Army career. You've done your whole time and retired. Could you tell us a little bit about how you came up in life and what influenced you to join the military?
Sure. I wasn't born here, but I was born in South Korea, and when I was about 11, I came to the United States. Back then, when I came in, my brothers served I had like 5 brothers, and most all either served the military, U.S. military, as well as the Republic of Korea. They used to have the mandatory service they have to do. So throughout I went to high school here, and as that, first I was not interested in military at all. During my college year, somewhere in junior, there was an ROTC program that came in, and I tried that out for 2 weeks, and I came back, and that's when I first interested in military. So after that, I got a commission as a second lieutenant, and also I did not interested to stay in 20 years. I just started for traveling. That's the primary purpose, to travel the world and have a great experience. As 2 years becomes 4, 4 became a 10, 10 became 20 years, and here I am. And I didn't realize I wanted to do 20 years in military service, but I did. I'm glad. I never regretted at this moment that I actually served this country. And after I retired, I was looking forward to find a way to, serve my country in a different way. And I think that one of the things came in was junior ROTC instructor. So when the slot was available, and I able to look for the job, and they came in, and I took this job, and those are the best things I ever did since I retired. And not only that I'm serving the country, but also serving the community, and also having serving with the kids, and able to share my experience in the military, while also trying to mentor them and guide in the right direction. So for me, that was really motivation, was something I look forward to, that I want to have that kind of accomplishments.
Nice. So basically, it's your chance to give back after after leaving the military.
Absolutely, and not many jobs out there. I'm sure there's a lot of jobs that you can serve the community, but especially as you retire as a military, you really want to look for a second job that it's going to be, comfortable, or something looking for that you only really want to do what you want to do. But having a junior Army instructor, I would tell you, to be honest, it's not for everyone. And because you have to be very patient with the students, and also you really have to enjoy what you're doing, and also most of all, you really have to have a heart to like your students, and able to spend time, long hours with the students. So it's not typical instructor that you finish high school, when you do your block of instruction, after 3 you go home. You don't. You stay after school. After staying 2 or 3 hours after school, then on the weekend you spend time with them, because that's when you spend time with competition, well as though attending activities that supporting the communities.
Nice. So when you came up, you said you didn't do ROTC until your junior year of college?
Yes.
Now, usually it takes about 4 years of ROTC to become an officer, correct?
Yes.
So how did you kind of fast track throughout the last 2 years?
Oh, yes. So normally it's a 4-year program. Back then they have a junior program. So if you're coming late, as long as you're a junior and you finish the basic training, which I did, they call it basic camp actually. Okay. So you do that, and you do 2 years, and as long as you graduate within a time, and you can be a senior ROTC, become second lieutenant as a commission. I think they still have it today, but today I think things are changed, and I think you had to be contracted. So that means you had to be able to potentially be a potential candidate to become an officer. So even today, I think there's a 4-year program, was a 3-year program, and I'm not sure there's still 2-year programs or not.
Okay. And later on in the show, we're definitely going to touch base on the junior ROTC programs through high school, because I'm sure there's some veterans out there really interested on how could I do the same thing Major Lee's doing. So we'll touch base on that later on throughout the show.
Sure.
But right now, I definitely want to talk to your two cadets here, your two seniors. Amelia, I have a big question for you. You're in charge of the Raiders, right?
Yeah, I am.
So if you can explain to me really, what do the Raiders do?
The Raiders is basically the workout team for the program. People who want to get in shape, people who may be joining the military after high school. They just want to get a feel of the workouts that we do. We have competitions. So we practice every day after school. We do running, push-ups, sit-ups. And then later on, once they're more trained, once they become like senior members of the team, we go more into focus on what we do at competition, like rope bridge. We do an event called Gauntlet where we have rucksacks. We do CCR, which is cross-country rescue. That's where we do first aid, and we use litter carries in the competition as well.
Okay. And Adriana, you're the actual sergeant major for the battalion at the school, correct?
Yes, I am.
All right. And what are your responsibilities every day being the sergeant major?
Every day I have to deal with like cadets and basically making sure that they're doing the right thing. Like they're not on their phones, they're not talking. If there's maybe a test going on during that period, to make sure they're not cheating or not doing anything that they're not supposed to. Since we're supposed to be an example to others, that's what I'm trying to uphold, as well as that I'm in charge of basically all the teams, including her Raider team. But what I do is that I just supervise them during their practices, make sure that her team members aren't doing the wrong thing, they're not playing around, they're basically doing what they're supposed to be doing and not doing, basically not giving a bad example to everybody else.
Okay, so you're the enforcer.
Yep.
You have that iron fist, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what influenced you guys to really join Junior ROTC coming up through high school?
For me, it was mostly because of my brother, since my brother was previously in ROTC. So I saw how he enjoyed it a lot. He went on many different trips, got to experience many different things, and it seemed like he had a very good bond with everybody there. So when I hit high school, really didn't know where I was going, where I would fit in. So I told everybody that I just went, might as well just join it, see how it was, see if I would actually fit in. And when I got there, I actually enjoyed it, and then I just stayed throughout like the rest of my high school years.
Interesting. So you were following your brother into that experience.
Yes.
Okay, and what about you, Amelia?
I actually didn't really know about the JROTC program while I was going into high school. I think it was 8th grade in the summer. I saw the Raider team working out at Fort Hamilton at the bars, the pull-up bars, and the track and field, and I found it very interesting. I wanted to do it, so I actually went up to them after their practice, and I asked them like what they were a part of, why they were doing this, why they were like doing it on their summer vacation. And they said that it was just a fun experience for them being in JROTC. So when I went to freshman orientation at the school, I signed up right away.
Okay, so you saw them before you even came to the school, and you just walked up, which takes a lot of nerve to walk up to complete strangers.
Yeah, I was nervous.
Yeah, and ask them, but doing that, overcoming that obstacle really changed your life for the positive. Okay, and you guys do a lot in the community. You guys do. But before we get into that, I understand that this program is a family affair. Your brother's in the Junior ROTC also, right?
Yeah, he's currently a junior.
Junior, okay. Is he going to take over the realms of Ranger after you leave?
Yeah, he's my assistant actually. He's going to be commander next year.
Okay, good. So keeping it in the family. And your brother, after leaving high school, he joined the Marines, correct?
Yes.
So how did that feel to you when you saw your brother ship off to the Marine Corps and, to serve his country?
Well, at first, I would feel like everybody else, which was sad and upset because I grew up with him for 14 years, and 14 years seeing him daily, seeing him do his best, do his worst, if he had any worst. So it was just a difficult adjustment. But then over time, I saw that he was enjoying it, and he got to do different things. He got to go to Japan like a few times, and he seems like he really enjoys it. So and that seems like something he loves to do. So I just supported him while doing it.
Good, good. No, that's big. You know, having family members in the military, you need to support them. My son joined the military. My daughter joined the military. I came from a military family, so I know the importance of supporting those family members. Now, what are your guys' plans for after you leaving high school?
For me, I'm planning to either do ROTC or go into the Army as enlisted. I'm seeing where it actually takes me because right now I want to currently do intelligence. So if I do pursue the Army and go enlisted, it'll actually help me get into an intelligence field like maybe FBI or CIA. So really boost up like me in the ranks.
Okay.
As well as it'll help me with colleges since my family, I know they could support me in college, but it would help even more if I could go to college for free since that's my mom's dream for me to go to college.
No, I understand. When you do end up joining the Army, you know, when you have to make that decision, enlisted or officer, you really have to look. When you go enlisted, you're able to look at the fields that you can join. But as an officer, your really needs of the Army. They're going to look at your scores. They're going to look at where your strengths are, and they're going to look at where they need, you know, officers and place you in that field. So that is smart to do that. And you've been talking to Army recruiters?
Yeah, 86th Street, we have one. So
Okay.
I usually go there, and I'm still talking to them because I'm still unclear since this is all new to me. And for me, I'm just unsure since then it will be I'm following my brother again in his footsteps, technically.
But you're not. He went Marines. You're looking at the Army, just like my dad was a Marine and I went Army.
Yeah,
you know?
but if you think about it, we've just done like the same thing, me and him. Like I've gone to the same middle school, high school, elementary school, and if I go to like the same profession, like military, it's just like a way that it just always happens.
But, hey, that says a lot about your brother and how
Yeah.
you look up to him and how you're following in his footsteps, you know. So that says a lot about him, you know. And what about you, Amelia?
I want to be a part of the medical field. More specifically, I want to be a neurologist.
Okay.
So what I'm planning on doing is I want to join ROTC after high school. I'm trying to get into City College of New York. There they have a ROTC program. I'm going to do my 4 years and hopefully get accepted into their medical program. Maybe they'll help me out with medical school. But also I want to do reserves also because I hope to be maybe a combat medic or some sort of medic in the Army Reserve, so that will give me like a little bit of a leg up when applying to med school later on in the future.
Okay, and have you been talking to an Army recruiter so far?
Yeah.
Okay, and what's your process going on like that with that?
Well, I took my ASVAB back in December. I just need to wait until I'm 18 to go to MEPS.
Okay.
So it's just a waiting process for now.
Okay. Well, what about mom and dad? Do they support you in this decision?
They support me. They know that I'm confident in the path I'm taking. I know what I'm doing. I did my research.
Okay. No, because the reason why I would tell you that is because myself, I was a recruiter for 9 years in the Army, and I know the process. And the longer you wait, the further back your basic training date's going to be.
Yeah.
Which then means the longer it's going to be until you're able to start school after you get back. So if they were able to help you out now to sign the paperwork, you would be able to go to basic training right after high school to where you would only probably miss a semester compared to maybe 2 semesters.
Yeah, I turn 18 in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
So it's not too much of a gap. But also, I would always call the people who are in charge of ROTC and City College or whatever college I get accepted to tell them that I just may need to defer like a tiny bit or a semester, like you said.
No, and they would definitely do that. You know,
Yeah.
that's big when they have reservists actually in their program. That's huge. Because with our reservists, what we did is after they got done with basic training, came back, started, and they were going to junior ROTC, they shadowed officers. They didn't do their job within the ROTC program. And there's programs out there for you to be able to, just that for reservists, to get college for free through the junior ROTC program. So, we can talk a little bit about it more after the show, but also talk to your recruiter about that also, because that's a big deal. That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
So after you guys get out, go to college, come out, are you guys planning on making the Army a career, or do you guys want to just do your time and come out? What are your thoughts on that?
For me, what would mostly happen with me is that after I do finish, I do plan on doing maybe 4 years active if I do reserves first, because with the experience, it'll actually help me. It'll give me a leg up in the future on, which is being like a special agent in, how I said, intelligence. So by having that, it'll be most likely gonna help with getting there.
Definitely. And what about you? Are you planning on doing a full career with this?
I'm not really planning on it because I do hope to one day work as a specialist, like in a hospital. But I feel like once I'm in it for like 6 or 10 years in the Army as an officer, I feel like I'm going to get attached to it just like I did with JROTC, and I'm probably going to stay with it, most likely make it a career.
Nice. So Major League, you guys do a lot out in the community. Could you kind of touch base on the things that, you guys have done? And then I would like to ask the two cadets more in depth on how they enjoyed doing those events.
Sure. First of all, before I start, I just want to let you know what are the greatest part of being instructors, that having these two ladies, I know when they were freshmen and they're seniors, so see them grow and mature and turn to and go in the right direction. That's the greatest reward as an instructor you can have, and having them growing up, you mentor them and growing up and doing a great thing. So that's one of the greatest rewards as an instructor you can have. As far as our program for our community service, we do so many. For example, we recently was a big event is the New York Marathon. We were the escort runner for all the marathons. So each stage we have approximately, I believe this year we have 40 cadets helping out on the starting line and escorting the runner to the starting line. That's one example we do. Also, we partnership with other community services, such as we do. There's Al State Park annually. They do a Halloween walk. They do so. Our cadet wearing our JROTC uniform, and they become a security guard, well as also be the safety officers in that event. That's a small example of that. And also we do numerous color guard events for the community, such as when there's a flag war ceremony, if there's a graduation ceremony, or whether there's a dignitary, we provide a color guard for that, representing that community. Well as some of the events we do outside that they ask for special color guard, and we provide those services. Other communities also, I believe a lot of dignitary, they show up and we ask for color guard, we present that. Local congressmen and the senator, they request for us, and we provide us, well as the usher, well as the honor guard events. I'm sure that these cadets they can tell more. The biggest thing we reward us that is we begin to represent the community. Not only that, also represents the Fort Hamilton and also JROTC. And we do also, in addition with that, we do a lot of community events such as outside. We did a toy for drive for the hospital for little kids they need. And 2 years ago, also we did canned food drive for the church at St. Nicholas. And not only that, we also visit the nursing home. So we do a lot of, I can go on, but there's some of the example we do on a daily basis.
No, yeah, that's amazing. I mean, you guys give back a lot out to the community. And how does that feel to you guys within, like, how does that fulfillment to give back, how does that make you guys feel?
That makes me feel personally good that we're giving back, since it's always nice to see how when people look at us, they see high school students, not like the typical ones that are always out doing bad things, but the ones that are actually making something out of it and getting something out of their high school experience. And it just feels really good, especially when we did the toy drive and how we were doing many different events. Seeing that all those people were giving gratitude to not only us as cadets, but also to our instructors, saying you guys have lots of dedication and do lots of different things for your cadets. It felt very nice, because usually people don't notice the things, but when they do see it, they're really grateful for it.
Well, that's amazing. And what about you?
Well, one community service event that we do that I'll always remember is we volunteered at a soup kitchen. I believe also at St. Nicholas in Sunset Park, 54th and 4th. It was a very different experience seeing like these families come and we would hand them out food. We would make food for them. I was very grateful. Like I realized how much I had.
Touches you deep down, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you feel proud that you're able to do something for the less fortunate or for people that are just in hard times at that moment. You know, so if you had to look at all the past events that you've done, what was your favorite event that you've ever done?
My favorite event would be one I would be doing color guard at the Army base.
Okay.
Especially, I think it was for Reserve Day, where almost all the branches come in, and you see different booths in the Reserve Center all set up, and we went on stage and performed. And when we got off, I think the Sergeant Major Diaz, I assume, he was there, and he congratulated us, and he really liked us. And from there on, every time there was an event on the base, he would always invite us first, since he saw how good we were doing, and it was just like a very nice experience to have.
That's awesome. And what about your most experience? Like I know you talked about the soup, you know, or the handing out food to the less fortunate, but if you looked at all 4 years of your high school, which event just stuck out the most to you?
Honestly, I'd have to say the soup kitchen. That was something that I'll honestly never forget. It's just like the way that the people looked at you when you gave them the food and like how happy they were. We gave out presents also for the hospital for children with cancer, and they were also very happy. It's just I like the events where I'm hands-on with people.
You go.
Yeah.
And you're giving back and makes you feel good about yourself. So do you guys know about any upcoming events that are coming up within the Fort Hamilton, Brooklyn area that you guys are going to be a part of?
Like community service-wise? Right now, we might be doing probably a parade coming up, probably Memorial Day, which is later on in the year. But we usually do that parade, which is where we march in. We start at like 77th Street, and then we move forward towards the Army base. And we're usually part of like I think it's the cannons, where they fire the cannons. And we're also doing color guards there. And that's the only event I think is coming up. But there might be more.
Are there any more Major League?
Absolutely. There's one. Recently, we got a request for a virtual reality enterprise. Okay. It's a big business competition in high school, actually. It's in a second pier up in Manhattan. So we present a color guard. And a couple of things we failed to mention is that also we do a lot of big events such as Yankee Stadium soccer. A team asked for color guard. We presented that. The local Tycoon, the baseball team, minor league, asked for a color guard, especially on Armed Forces Day or Military Appreciation Day. So we show those up. The biggest thing that I can tell is that my goal is to take these students and cadets to take into the places and give them opportunity to see different things. And the biggest reward I get, some of the audience would say, "Hey, you guys look good. Your cadet looks good," and that puts joy to my tear. Not only that, that really stands out and telling that, hey, that we are doing the right thing for the community. Not only that, for themselves, that hopefully they continue to contribute to the community, while also build a professional relationship. The couple of things we already have a sponsor in the relationship, which is John Coffey, American Legion 6688. With that, they support us, we support them. Same with the Old Guard, which is New York Old Guard. We provide them a color guard, and also they support us and they sponsor some of that. And there's some of the few that we have professional relation with some of the organization.
No, I know when we did the ceremony in the park for the flagpole, I saw the Fort Hamilton Junior ROTC out there doing the drilling ceremony and the, colors and all that. So that was pretty exciting. And it was the Coffee Wilson post,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, so, I'm a member of that post also, so it's a great organization there.
Absolutely. So.
Yeah. And if you had a student come up to you getting ready to come to high school or a freshman in high school and said, hey, I'm thinking about joining junior ROTC, what advice would you give them?
I would just tell them to do it.
Yeah?
Because honestly, in high school, when you're a freshman or upcoming freshman, you're pretty worried about, oh, what friends will I make? Where am I going to do? Who am I going to sit with? And in ROTC, you basically have a little bit of everything. You get the high school experience, but you also have like the security that, okay, we're all in this together. We're all brand new. And honestly, in the beginning, it helps you transition because we're allowed to basically stay our lunch periods or whenever our teachers allow us to come down. Major League always lets us come in. And it just gives you that sense of security that you might not usually get when you're first coming into high school.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels good to fit somewhere. And that's what I think would help most of the freshmen and new 8th graders coming in.
That's big. That's really big. You know, what about you, Amelia? What would you tell them?
I tell them to absolutely do it because it's also the fact that you'll have a family in JROTC, but there's always something for everyone there. If you like to work out, you can join Raiders. If you like academics, if you are book smart, you can join the academic team. If you find the marching interesting, you could join drill team, color guard. There's really just something for everyone to do, and there's so many opportunities. Like, I have kids in my classes who have never been on a school trip, but I went on, I'd say like 3 or 4 just my freshman year because of JROTC. It really like helps you. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. And that's some good advice. I mean, you guys have had positive results out of it, and to give that information to upcoming, high school students, or people that are students that are already in high school, maybe they're looking at junior ROTC, but they just aren't familiar with it. So that was really good. I appreciate that knowledge. You probably helped out a lot of kids just now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Major League, going back to the junior ROTC program itself, I know we have veterans. I've heard about it coming out of my recruiting career. Junior ROTC is the way to go. Try to get a job in junior ROTC. What is the process to get those jobs?
Right. Process a little bit complicated. One, you have to get interviewed by the designator for that area, whether 2nd Brigade or whatever area you fall into, what brigade you belong to. So you get to get interviewed by it to make sure that you are qualified to be instructor. First, to get interviewed. That second phase is that you get to do online training. Mm-hmm. And third factor is that you have to have your background checked. I will let you know the Cadet Command is really hard on the old records. I give you an example. Every 5 years they go through a background check. Somehow they got me pull out a ticket for not wearing seatbelt in a military installation. That's how thorough they do. So anything that is criminal, anything that is a luggage you have, might not get that job. So they go through the background check. After you get your background check, then you should go to local school or go on a website, usarmyjrotc.com, and they have a vacancy. Based on that, you go find a school and interview by principal. Based upon your qualification, you can get a job right away. I think it's very rewarding for the veterans who want to serve back the community. But I will tell you, it's not for everyone because it's really, it's not like a 9-to-5 job that you go in there, you do your job, you leave. You get emotion attached to your kids. You get emotion attached to your school. And kid knows that right away, you walk in that office, that whether you're going to be here or you're just here for 9 to 5.
Well, I would like to thank you guys for coming on the show, ladies. I hope you had a good time. Major Lee, I appreciate you coming on, bringing these 2 wonderful students here to talk with us today.
Thank you for the invitation. Appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, thank a veteran.